Hello, future medical professionals. Welcome to an exciting journey into the intricacies of the human body. Today, we are diving deep into chemical coordination and integration, specifically focusing on the fascinating parathyroid glands. Get ready to explore how these tiny glands play a huge role in your body's calcium balance. We'll start with the basics, then gradually build up to competitive level insights. Let's begin our 4-level learning adventure. Let's kick things off with the easy level. We'll uncover the fundamentals of the parathyroid glands and their primary function. So, what exactly are parathyroid glands? Imagine small, pea-sized structures, typically 4 of them, nestled on the back of your thyroid gland in your neck. These tiny glands are absolute powerhouses when it comes to managing your body's calcium. Their main job is to produce a crucial hormone called parathyroid hormone, or PTH. This hormone is vital for keeping your bones strong and ensuring your nerves and muscles work correctly, all by carefully balancing calcium levels. Without them, our bodies would struggle to maintain this delicate balance. Now, let's talk about what PTH actually does. Its primary role is to increase calcium levels in your blood. How does it achieve this? First, it signals your bones to release stored calcium. Think of your bones as a calcium bank, and PTH is the key to making withdrawals when needed. Second, it tells your kidneys to reabsorb more calcium from the urine, preventing its loss. Third, it indirectly helps your intestines absorb more calcium from the food you eat by activating vitamin D. So, if your blood calcium drops, PTH steps in to bring it back up, ensuring vital functions continue smoothly. Time to test your understanding with a few quick questions. Take a moment to think about the answers before I reveal them. Question 1. Where are the parathyroid glands located? Question 2. What is the primary hormone secreted by the parathyroid glands? And question 3. What is the main effect of parathyroid hormone on blood calcium levels? Reflect on these, and let's move on to a deeper dive. Alright, let's elevate our understanding with the medium-level content. Here, we'll explore the detailed mechanisms and feedback loops. Delving deeper into their structure, parathyroid glands are typically 4 in number, 2 superior and 2 inferior, situated on the posterior surface of the thyroid. Each gland is composed mainly of chief cells, which are the workhorses responsible for synthesizing and secreting PTH. There are also oxyphil cells, whose exact function is still under research, but they might be involved in PTH metabolism. Understanding this cellular composition helps us appreciate how precisely PTH is produced and regulated within these small but mighty glands. The mechanism of PTH action is quite sophisticated. On bones, PTH stimulates osteoclasts, which are cells that break down bone, releasing calcium and phosphate into the bloodstream. In the kidneys, PTH acts to increase calcium reabsorption back into the blood while simultaneously promoting phosphate excretion, which is crucial to prevent calcium phosphate precipitation. Indirectly, PTH also activates vitamin D in the kidneys, and this activated vitamin D then enhances calcium absorption from your gut. This multi-pronged approach ensures efficient calcium mobilization and conservation. Calcium homeostasis is a finely tuned negative feedback loop. The secretion of PTH is directly governed by blood calcium levels. Specialized calcium sensing receptors, or CASs, on the chief cells of the parathyroid glands detect any drop in blood calcium. When calcium levels fall, these receptors trigger increased PTH release. Conversely, when calcium levels rise, the CASs inhibit PTH secretion, thus reducing calcium mobilization. This constant monitoring and adjustment mechanism ensures that your body's calcium levels remain within a very narrow and healthy range, vital for various physiological processes. Now, let's tackle 5 practice questions to solidify your medium-level understanding. Question 1. What are the main cells responsible for PTH secretion? Question 2. How does PTH affect osteoclasts? Question 3. Describe PTH's action in the kidneys regarding calcium and phosphate. Question 4. How does PTH indirectly influence intestinal calcium absorption? And question 5. What is the primary stimulus for PTH release? Take your time, think through these concepts, and prepare for the next level. Welcome to the hard level. Here, we'll analyze complex interactions, compare hormones, and explore clinical disorders. At this level, it's crucial to understand the antagonistic relationship between PTH and calcitonin. While PTH, secreted by the parathyroid glands, is a hypercalcemic hormone, increasing blood calcium, calcitonin, from the thyroid C cells, is a hypocalcemic hormone, decreasing blood calcium. PTH promotes bone resorption, kidney reabsorption of calcium, and vitamin D activation. Calcitonin, on the other hand, inhibits osteoclast activity and promotes calcium deposition in bones. This delicate hormonal tug-of-war is fundamental to maintaining strict calcium balance, ensuring that blood calcium neither gets too high nor too low, which could have severe health implications. Disorders of the parathyroid glands can have significant consequences. Hypoparathyroidism, characterized by insufficient PTH, leads to low blood calcium and high phosphate, often resulting in teny, muscle spasms, and even seizures. This can occur due to surgical damage or autoimmune conditions. Conversely, hyperparathyroidism, an excess of PTH, causes high blood calcium and low phosphate. This leads to symptoms often summarized as bones, stones, abdominal groans, and psychic moans, indicative of bone loss, kidney stones, gastrointestinal issues, and neurological problems. Understanding these distinct clinical pictures is vital for diagnosis and management. On a molecular level, PTH exerts its effects by binding to specific PTH receptors, primarily PTHR1, which are G-protein-coupled receptors. Upon PTH binding, this receptor activates adenylate cyclase, leading to an increase in intracellular cyclic AMP. This CAMP then activates protein kinase A, which phosphorylates various proteins within the cell, ultimately mediating PTH's diverse physiological responses, such as calcium release from bone and reabsorption in the kidney. This intricate signaling pathway ensures that PTH can precisely orchestrate calcium regulation at the cellular level, impacting bone density and kidney function in a profound way. Now, let's challenge your analytical skills with 7 hard-level questions. Question 1. Differentiate between PTH and calcitonin based on their effects on blood calcium and target organs. Question 2. Describe the key symptoms of hypoparathyroidism and hyperparathyroidism. Question 3. Explain the molecular mechanism by which PTH activates its target cells. Question 4. How does chronic hyperparathyroidism affect bone density and kidney function? Question 5. What are Chvostek's and Trousseau's signs, and in which parathyroid disorder are they observed? Question 6. Why is phosphate excretion important in calcium homeostasis? And question 7. Can PTH have an anabolic effect on bone? If so, under what conditions? Consider these deeply. Prepare for the ultimate challenge. Welcome to the hardest level, where we'll delve into competitive depth, advanced concepts, and cutting-edge insights into parathyroid physiology and pathology. The embryological journey of the parathyroid glands is complex and prone to variations. The inferior parathyroids originate from the third pharyngeal pouch alongside the thymus, embarking on a longer migratory path. The superior parathyroids develop from the fourth pharyngeal pouch. This intricate developmental process explains why ectopic parathyroid glands, found in unusual locations like the mediastinum, are relatively common and can pose significant challenges during surgery. Understanding this embryology is key for surgeons and for interpreting imaging studies in patients with parathyroid disorders. Beyond chief cells, which synthesize and secrete PTH, the parathyroid glands also contain oxyphil cells. While their exact function remains elusive, these cells are rich in mitochondria and appear more frequently with age. Some theories suggest they might be inactive chief cells or play a role in PTH metabolism. PTH itself is synthesized as a preprohormone, then processed into active PTH. Its short half-life necessitates continuous regulation. The precise control of PTH secretion is mediated by the calcium sensing receptor, or CASR, a G protein-coupled receptor on chief cells. High extracellular calcium activates CASR, inhibiting PTH release, while low calcium disinhibits it, forming a crucial feedback loop. Magnesium also modulates this. Severe hypomagnesemia can paradoxically impair PTH secretion and action, complicating hypocalcemia. Pharmacological interventions for parathyroid disorders are increasingly sophisticated. Calcimimetics like cinacalcet increase the sensitivity of CASs to calcium, effectively tricking the parathyroid glands into thinking calcium levels are higher, thereby reducing PTH secretion. This is invaluable for managing primary hyperparathyroidism in non-surgical candidates and secondary hyperparathyroidism in kidney disease. Conversely, PTH analogues, such as teriparatide, when given intermittently, surprisingly promote bone formation, offering a therapeutic option for severe osteoporosis. This dual effect of PTH catabolic at high continuous levels and anabolic at intermittent low doses highlights the complexity of its actions. Furthermore, active vitamin D analogues are used to enhance calcium absorption and suppress PTH in various conditions, underscoring the tight interplay between these hormones. Differentiating causes of hypercalcemia is a critical clinical skill. PTH-dependent hypercalcemia usually points to primary or tertiary hyperparathyroidism, where the parathyroid glands themselves are overactive. In contrast, PTH-independent hypercalcemia suggests other etiologies, most commonly malignancy, which can release PTH-related protein or cause bone metastases. Other causes include vitamin D intoxication or granulomatous diseases. Accurately measuring PTH levels is paramount for this differential diagnosis. Moreover, genetic factors play a significant role in some parathyroid conditions. Multiple endocrine neoplasia syndromes, like MEN1 and MEN2A, often include primary hyperparathyroidism due to specific gene mutations. Familial hypocalciuric hypercalcemia, caused by CASR gene mutations, presents with mild hypercalcemia and inappropriately normal PTH, but low urinary calcium excretion, distinguishing it from primary hyperparathyroidism and avoiding unnecessary surgery. These genetic insights are transforming our understanding and management of parathyroid diseases. Let's test your expertise with the first 5 hardest level questions. Question 1. Explain the embryological origin of the superior and inferior parathyroid glands and its clinical significance. Question 2. Differentiate between chief cells and oxyphil cells in terms of function and histological appearance. Question 3. Describe the precise mechanism by which the calcium sensing receptor, CASR, regulates PTH secretion. Question 4. How do calcimimetics work, and for which conditions are they prescribed? Question 5. Discuss the dual effect of PTH on bone, explaining why continuous high levels lead to resorption while intermittent low doses promote formation. Take your time to formulate comprehensive answers. Now, for the remaining 5 challenging questions. Question 6. What is the primary difference in PTH levels between PTH-dependent and PTH-independent hypercalcemia, and why is this distinction clinically important? Question 7. Explain the genetic basis and clinical features of multiple endocrine neoplasia type 1, MEN1, syndrome related to parathyroid involvement. Question 8. How does severe hypomagnesemia impact PTH secretion and calcium homeostasis? Question 9. Describe familial hypocalciuric hypercalcemia, FHH, including its genetic cause and how it's differentiated from primary hyperparathyroidism. And question 10. Beyond calcium regulation, What other physiological roles might PTH play, or what are some emerging areas of research concerning PTH? These questions require a deep understanding and critical thinking. And that brings us to the end of our in-depth exploration of the parathyroid glands. From their basic function to complex disorders and advanced pharmacological interventions, you've covered a vast amount of crucial information. Remember, mastering topics like these is key to acing your NEET exams. For more such comprehensive educational content, practice questions, and interactive learning experiences, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for regular updates and to continue your journey towards becoming a top-tier medical professional. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing your limits. See you in the next session.